Hey everyone, to my subscribers and regular viewers, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you found me. Before we get started with the news, I want to ask you to share this video with anyone you think might be interested in watching. I don't have a marketing team or anything like that. I'm just a dude trying to share information. So if you think that what I'm doing here is important, if you like the content I'm producing, hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep this channel going. So today I'm going to try and present a rational and nuanced version of the argument for why Black Lives Matter, the organization and movements, have such low approval ratings. But before I get into that, I want to take a moment to say that you may disagree with what I have to say. You may not like some of the topics of discussion that I bring up. Just know that everything that I talk about in this episode will be 100% factual. If you disagree with some of the things that I say, cool. This video might not be for you. I'm not going to apologize for speaking facts. And this video is for educational purposes and to bring about critical thinking in a time when it's sorely needed. There are plenty of rational and logical reasons as to why people don't support the Black Lives Matter movement and organization, some of which we're going to talk about here today. The first thing I want to talk about and bring up is a term called semantic overload. Now, this is a term in linguistics occurring when a word or phrase has more than one meaning, and it is used in ways that convey meanings based on its divergent constituent concepts. I bring this up because the term Black Lives Matter is one of these phrases. Generally speaking, Black Lives Matter has three meanings. The first being the inarguable proposition that Black Lives do indeed matter. This is just fact, right? The term Black Lives Matter, in a vacuum, stripped of all political and ideological baggage, no one in America is going to disagree with the statement. The simple term Black Lives Matter is in fact an unarguable truth. And you'd be really hard pressed to find someone who disagrees. The idea that Black lives don't matter is simply preposterous to pretty much everyone. And know that I'm using terms like virtually no one and pretty much everyone advisedly because I recognize that there are still racists in America. You'd have to be crazy to think otherwise. Simply acknowledging they make up a tiny fraction of a minority in the US, right? You're not going to find large groups of people that disagree with the statement Black Lives Matter. They do. This is an inarguable truth. And I say that these people are such a tiny minority because the U.S. is one of the most racially tolerant countries on the planet, even more so than nearly every European country. Let's take a look real quick at this Washington Post article. Fascinating map of the world's most and least racially tolerant countries. So they put out a poll and asked people to pick from groups of people they would not want as neighbors, and the share of people that chose people of another race in most of North America, so Canada and the United States, and some of South America was less than 5%. So we're probably looking at the anywhere from the 2 to 4% range. Probably even lower than that, right? However, when we look at Europe, we're looking at anywhere from 10 to 30% of people who don't want people of another race as a neighbor. America is significantly more racially tolerant than most European countries, right? So it's no surprise that when we take a look at the second meaning of Black Lives Matter, we start to see quite a bit of disagreement. If America really is that racially tolerant, then the second meaning is in relation to the organization, which, as I talked about yesterday, is experiencing sub 10% approval ratings. And it's because of things like the widespread riots, destroying major cities across the country, things like the leaders of the organization coming out and saying things that this is a Marxist organization full of trained Marxist revolutionaries. And their recently removed What We Believe website page. So let's take a look at what that was. This is a Fox News article. Black Lives Matter removes What We Believe website page calling to disrupt nuclear family structure. The official website for Black Lives Matter has dropped its controversial call to disrupt the nuclear family structure. Red State reported on Monday that the organization has, quote, quietly deleted its What We Believe page, which laid out a list of its objectives. And one of those objectives, which many critics of the Black Lives Matter highlighted, read, "We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and, quote, villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. Fox News verified that the What We Believe page was inactive. Black Lives Matter did not immediately respond to Fox News' request for comment. So if we take a look, we'll swap on over here to this Daily Wire article, and we get this full list of what the What We Believe page fully said, all of their demands. We are self-reflective and do the work required to dismantle cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to be disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their contexts. There's a little bit of that Marxist language. We make our spaces family-friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that require mothers to work, quote, double shifts so they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. And here's the key. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirements by supporting each other as extended families and, quote, villages that collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster queer-affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather, the belief that all in the world are heterosexual unless they disclose otherwise. So there we go. There's a full list of their What We Believe page, which was just recently removed 2 days ago, 2 days from the filming of this video. Now, 5 years ago, this would have been widely seen as an extremist view. The call to disrupt the nuclear family structure in America is going to make crime and violence rise, not fall. Two-parent homes are the single greatest marker of success in a child's life, specifically a mother and a father, right? Two fathers are better than one father most of the time, okay? All of this is general. Two fathers are better than one father. Two mothers are better than one mother in terms of success in a child's life. But the most successful households come from one mother, one father, generally speaking. Again, I want to be clear. This is the nuclear family structure. Father and mother. Get married, have kids, stay faithful to each other. Two parents in the home is the greatest mark of success in a child's life, ranging from higher economic capabilities to health to grades in school and lower delinquency rates. The nuclear family is the structure. The nuclear family structure is the solution, not the problem. The solution, not the problem. And meanwhile, we get Black Lives Matter on their What We Believe page saying that this is the problem and it needs to be eradicated. This is reason number 2 why people don't trust the movement, the Black Lives Matter organization. Meaning number 2, the organization. Right. So meaning number 1 is the proposition that Black Lives Matter. True fact. Stripped of all of its ideological and political baggage, this is a true statement. Okay. Meaning number 2 is the organization Black Lives Matter, which is on some shaky ground already. Okay. And then meaning number 3. The third definition of the term Black Lives Matter is the idea that there are large swaths of Americans who disagree with the sentiment. Okay? As we've already discussed, this really isn't true. America is one of the most racially tolerant countries on the planet. Most people are content with just living their lives as they want to live their lives. Okay? But there is this idea floating around that black people have to live in fear of their lives being from being shot by police. Okay? This is little more than propagandistic narrative. Okay? It has no basis in factual data or reality. It doesn't. I'm sorry. You might think it does, but it doesn't. There are 55 million interactions with police between police and citizens every year. 55 million. Okay? And in 2019, depending on your source, there were anywhere from 9 to 14, okay, single digit, double digit, unarmed black people shot and killed by police. Does that sound like America's police force is largely racist and out to exterminate black people in mass? If you think so, this has got to be the worst genocide in world history. This is the worst attempted world genocide. In fact, the biggest threats to the black community in terms of murder is the black community itself. In 2018, according to the FBI database, 89% of all homicides within the black community, okay, 89% in the black community, all homicides, were committed by other black people. 9 out of 10 murders in black neighborhoods are committed by black people. Okay, so the idea that black Americans need to worry about police officers shooting them is, frankly, silly. Honestly, I don't really have another word for it. It just doesn't make sense. Why people don't trust Black Lives Matter? Why don't they trust Black Lives Matter? The final reason that people don't trust, like, or approve of the BLM organization, okay, the organization and the movement. We've already established lots of people are willing to get on board with the statement, but they don't trust the organization and the movement because of the things like the widespread riots. When people hear the words Black Lives Matter, no one anymore just thinks of that one term in a vacuum. Okay? They think of all the political and ideological baggage that comes along with it. When we hear those words, we think of all the previously discussed meanings, okay, the organization, the movement, and the statement, as well as all of the damage that they have caused throughout the country in the past six months. Okay. As of August 11th, 2020, which was 6 weeks ago from the recording of this video, 18 people had died from these riots. 900 police officers have been injured. And to this date, $2 billion, with a B, billion dollars worth of damages have been caused. In other words, these riots have done more harm than good. This is what people think of when they hear the words Black Lives Matter. They think of the 20 people having been killed. They think of the 1,000 police officers being injured. They think of the $2 billion worth of damages across the country. So is it a surprise when you post on your Facebook page, Black Lives Matter? Is it a surprise when you get pushback? It shouldn't be, based on these numbers. Really shouldn't be. Now, I am educated enough to accept terms like Black Lives Matter while acknowledging that it has more than one meaning, and I am able to separate the terms from the organization and the movement. But if anything from my show yesterday has shown us, most of America doesn't recognize this. They don't. That's why Black Lives Matter organization is suffering a sub 10% approval rating, because people most people aren't able to separate the term from the organization. It is because of this fact that BLM is destroying their own credibility every time they march through a city, light buildings on fire, kill people, and throw Molotov cocktails and shoot fireworks at police officers. This is their own fault. They've caused more harm than good. Okay? Like I said yesterday, you have the right to march through your city screaming whatever you want. You have the right to say death to America. You have the right to say cops are pigs. I may not like it. I may disagree with you staunchly. And I do. I disagree with those statements very, very seriously. But you have the right to say it. And I will fight to the death for your right to say it. But once you cross that line of damaging other people's once you cross that line of damaging other people's property, you've lost all credibility. And I see this this argument, oh, but 93% of Black Lives Matter marches are peaceful. Okay, so 99% of police interactions are peaceful. What's your argument now? You're out in the streets rioting against police who are 99% peaceful for killing this many people unjustifiably. What's your argument now? Hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope the information was enlightening and educational. As I said at the beginning of the video, if you like my content, subscribe and hit that share button so that I can continue to pump out content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all on Monday. Try not to burn down the country over the weekend.